Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me. This is my first video, and it's going to be on the iPod Touch 7th generation. Now, this is the latest iPod. See, iPod right here, iPod, Apple iPod, and yes, all that, and it's in blue. This is the latest iPod you can get from Apple. That is called an ipod. Now, you might be wondering, what reference or what is it used for an iPod in 2020? Well, it depends on actually who you are and what you need to do. This is an iPod Touch 7th generation 128 gigabyte, and I have this thing slammed with music to the brim. So I have my uses, and since I got this for Christmas, I have been enjoying it very, very much. In fact, it runs full iOS. Hold on, let me show you guys. Full iOS. This is insane for such a small form factor. Look how slim that is. Slim. You have your lightning and headphone jack right here. Now, in 2020, you might say, what the heck, it's small. You know, it's actually smaller than my Note 10. It's actually smaller than my S7, actually, that I have. But, to be honest, this is a really good form factor to be used just to put in your pocket and listen to music and listen to podcasts. Because on a phone, you can get a call and get disturbed, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't want people annoying me with phone calls. Well, you can disconnect from Wi-Fi, and bam, you're done. No calls, no nothing. And it can be used as kind of like a phone-ish, but it's not an iPhone. No, it's not an iPhone. But what makes it special is that since it's more of a dedicated music player, it's really meant for music. And that's what really matters, at least to me. And for some people, that's what matters, because you can go streaming services like YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, all that kinds of stuff. You can do that on here. And it sounds great, especially through the headphone jack. You know, this is becoming a feature, not only on budget phones, but, you know, whenever a company actually decides to include it. You know, not the best speaker, and not the fastest transfer speeds with the lightning port, but, you know, hey, you get what you get sometimes. And since it runs full iOS, I mean, you can run like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Messenger, whatever you want. But why is this still sold by Apple in 2020? And that's a good question. And it really depends on who you actually are. If you're a person like me who wants your music to be on a separate device so that you don't get disturbed while you're listening, this is perfect. Because you have your streaming services, you can have all your music, especially with the crazy storage that's in here, and it'll sync up with your entire iTunes library, and then whatever you have downloaded, you know, legally, and just plays it. And you are the only one who presses pause. But this can also be for a kid. I actually had one when I was a kid, a wee young lad, and I thought this was so neat. I thought this was so neat to have. And, you know, if you don't want to give your kid an iPhone, you can give them one of these. But that also comes with a price that, a used iPhone can be, the same price as an iPod. But, well, it kind of depends. But I think the iPod in 2020 is still relevant because people still want to put music on without being disturbed. And not only having a headphone jack and lightning port, but just in general. Now, the specs of this has an A10 Fusion chip, which is actually in my iPad 6th generation, which is actually a pretty good performer. And it has 2 gigabytes of RAM on this small screen, which the screen resolution is the same as an iPod 6th generation. Man, this thing is insane. It is completely insanely fast. Like, let's just say if I want to go into reminders. Holy crap. Fast as hell. And that's the A10 being this small package. It's powerful. I had the 6th generation iPod Touch, and this is just so much faster. And of course I got the blue color because that's my favorite color. Now it still has the same cameras as on the 6th generation. Right here, the flash, microphone, and the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And eyesight camera is what they call that, or FaceTime, depending on what you interpret it as. Volume buttons, and that's just about it, except for the bottom. But for a dedicated music player, this is completely awesome. But iOS gives a lot of functionality to the iPod instead of just playing music. You can go onto Instagram. You can read news off of this. You can search. You can do message. You can FaceTime people. It's all around. Apple selling this iPod is actually still a good idea because this is still the cheapest Apple product you can buy brand new. Around $200. And the next Apple product that's in that line is the iPad mini. And that's just a big device. So I hope you guys like me talking about the iPod 7th generation and talking about, is it relevant in 2020? And who does this actually belong to? So I hope you guys like this video and subscribe and like and comment. And since this is my first video, please leave a comment of if any improvements. This is my first time. So, just be good people. Just be good people. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.